It's another brand new day and a beautiful new week, and funny enough, also an awesome new month as we're talking about September. And indeed, it's a lovely time for us to be together right here on Atlantic TV. It's Viewpoint, and my name is Mike Egobadia. I feel it will be in order for me to say welcome to another great time on television. You know, Viewpoint is aiming in making you feel really comfortable every lovely morning. And we do all we need to do to ensure that you're having a nice time, and a nice time is what we intend to do. But you do know I'm never alone, especially when it's a good time on TV. I always have her right here by my side, and I'm talking of no other but
Merci, Arable. Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, happy new month. I know you're excited about this new month as much as I am excited about the new month, because I know it's a blessed month already. It's a fruitful month for us all. And today we are having Viewpoints, of which you do not want to miss any of the highlights today, because on Trendy, of course, you know, I am always bringing the gist as hot as they come. But before we go into Trendy, let's go to the dailies, and we'll go into the dailies after this quick break. Don't go anywhere.
When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace.
Well, indeed, it's time now. We go straight to the dailies. And for review today, we have 5 papers. We always have the Punch, the Vanguard, the Guardian, the Nation. And funny enough, these days making a return today on the show. But you do know we always love starting with the Punch. And let's see if it has its usual puncher. Well, funny enough, it does. And on the Punch this morning, the leading story reads, Atiku demands annulment as Wike reasserts control. Now, we're talking about the Rivers local government polls that was held just during the weekend. Kickers to that, or riders, Fubara loses local government as APUC wins 20 local government area. PDP claim 3. FCT minister controlled temporary. I did not say so, but Rivers elders seem to be screaming out that loud on page 2. Well, anyway, that's the major one right there on the Punch. But let's quickly take other leading stories, especially at the top mass side of the Punch newspaper. Reps deny alleged plan, showdown with speaker. It's a major one on page 8. Northwest leads in FEC, that's a Federal Executive Council project, with 5.97 trillion naira. And this is coming from the federal government, but page 29 has more of that story. Well, infractions. Federal government threatens to disconnect Gencos from power grid. And no power tussle there, but go to page 30 and you have more of that story. Tinubu policeman as ex-IG Rase dies at 69. A sad one. Solomon Rase died during the weekend. But page 7 have more of that story. But let's see if we just quickly go to, just see if we have other major stories. If we do, just beneath the picture of the day. And yes, well, that's more like an advert, Union Bank of Nigerian Companies merger with Titan Trust Bank, and you can see the director there. But the picture of the day is indeed a sad one, as everybody will be calling for more peace to come there. We're talking about Gaza City, as more young persons, children are killed in that more than 2 years long war. And our hearts are really going out to all of them. Is the need, or there is every need for peace to return to the Middle East. But anyway, that's the much you can take from the Punch.
All right, let's go to the nation. Let's see what the nation has for us this morning. The major story here reads, Idris, federal government project spread fairly among 6 zones. And the writer to the story says Northwest is a major beneficiary. Over 1,000 primary healthcare centers rehabilitated. That story is on page 2 of the nation. Let's see if we have more stories at the top mass. Health security systems reinforced to combat disease threats. That story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. APC sweeps to victory in 20 Rivers Council. The writer says PDP takes 3. That story is also on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Bandits being appeased by government, El Rufai alleges. The story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. Tinubu Okbewolo Egbe Tokun, others mourn ex-IG Arase. That story is on page 4. It's a really sad one indeed, but it's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see, we still have one here. Union Bank of Nigeria completes merger with Titan Trust Bank. The story is on page 2 of the Nation newspaper. Let's see if we have more. Yes, at the side mass, investors await interim dividends by major banks. The story is on page 3 of the Nation newspaper. And just at the bottom mass, 12 ISWAP fighters killed in Borno State. That story is on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. 16 die in Zamfara boat accident. A sad story. It's on page 28 of the Nation newspaper. And the picture of the day is that of an arts and cultural event in Abuja yesterday that saw dignitaries, including representatives from Colombia. Well, that's all we'll be taken today on the Nation newspaper. Let's go to The Guardian. Let's see what it has for us this morning. The major story here, positioning Nigeria as a global player in the $500 billion cosmetics industry. The writer says a call to Mr. President. That story is just on the front page. You can just see it right there at the front page. Yeah, raw materials crisis threatens industrial revival. Nigeria first policy. That story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Atiku cries foul as Wike recaptures Rivers grassroots. Fubara politically adrift. The story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. UNICEF, Nigeria Bar Association push for reforms to end child detention. A story is on page 7 of the Guardian newspaper. Dangote turns to Ghana for crude, denies shrinking production, RFCC issues. It's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Let's see the picture of the day. Yeah, the picture of the day is more of a screamer for the major story here. It's the executive director of Boa Foods, Mr. Isiaq Rabiu. So he actually wrote a letter to Mr. President. And that's all we're taking on the Guardian this morning. Let's see what this day has for us this morning. The major story here, federal government, not southwest, has lion's share of Tinubu's projects. The writer states, Budget Office releases data, says reports misleading. With 5.9 trillion naira, Yakubu maintains not marginalized. The scribes report as statistical error, deliberate incitement. Idris insists Tinubu fair to all sections of Nigeria. List key projects in every region. Well, to read that full story, you can go to page 5 of this day newspaper. Let's go to the top mass. Okay, just above the major headline, Keyamo, PDP in legal risks, fielding Jonathan in 2027. El-Rufai, Tinubu will come third in presidential election. And the rider accuses Ubasari of disrupting ADC meeting in Kaduna. NSA facts on fighting against banditry disprove El-Rufai's false claim. Well, the full story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. To the top mass, Chatham House, corruption undermining Nigeria's economic growth, eroding public trust. The rider says government interference inadequate, finding hindering anti-graft war. That story is on page 5 of this day newspaper. To the bottom mass, Rivers local government election. APC sweeps 20 chairmanship, PDP wins 3. The story is on page 8 of this day newspaper. And the picture of the day is that of the turbaning ceremony of Aisha Ahmad as the new Sonia Asusu Nukwe. Well, that's all we're taking on this day, this morning. Up next is the Vanguard newspaper.
And the Vanguard indeed is the next paper for review. And funny enough, the last one we're going to review today. Petrol consumption down by 28%, Ipman groans. And right as to that, operators recount ordeal, lease courses, pump hands idle at stations. It's trying time for us marketers, and frequent price changes unhealthy for sector, expert warns. But anyway, I'll not be warning you, but advising you to get more of that story on page 23 of the Vanguard newspaper. Let's see if we take other leading story, if any, the top mass of the Vanguard. Yes, we have some major headlines right there. Union Bank completes merger with Titan Trust Bank is on page 24. Tinubu have been fair to all sections of Nigeria, and the federal government seems to be screaming out that loud on page 5. But what seems to be at the very top is GTCO increases banks paid up capital to 504 billion naira. But let's see if we take some other major stories just at the side mass of the Vanguard. Wage increase, NECA, NLC urge states to emulate Imo and Ebonyi. And I feel many workers will really want more of that to happen in their states.
Yeah, of
and
course.
Knowing that Ebonyi and Imo recently increased the minimum wage of workers. No sabotage in Abuja-Kaduna train derailment. And the federal government is saying that on page 9. 2027, Keyamo wants PDP against feeding Jonathan and Obi. And you can't decide our candidate, PDP replies minister. And more of that reply is on page 8 of the Vanguard. Rivers local government polls, APC sweeps 20 councils as PDP 3. Wike Hills exercise Atiku, reject results, but more of that rejection you can see on page 12. Rwanda, Amavubi storm Nigeria tomorrow, and we're talking about the World Cup qualifiers. We just hope all will be well for this great country as we try to see if we really scale through and go to a World Cup we'll dearly miss so long. But anyway, no missing up the figures, yes. The picture, or rather the graph for the day, is more like Nigerian petrol consumption. And funny enough, is from June 2020 to June 2025. And you can see the graph there. It looks as if Nigerians are reducing their consumption of fuel. But anyway, no reduction in you doing all of that. But anyway, like I said, that's the very last paper we're really looking at today. And a quick one, some major headlines or some major take on the headlines, and one that we might really be looking at later. And we're talking about of politics. But remember, on Dialogue today, we'll be looking at Delta 34. And you do know in 1991, exactly 27th day of August, this great big heart, as it's being called, got its own state created out from the old Bendel state. And well, we'll be looking at that later on Dialogue. But let's quickly come and see if we can look at some major, especially as it concerns the daily. One I want us to quickly go to is that of the Vanguard, which states that it looks as if more Nigerians seem not to be consuming fuel. And many of them are indeed just walking away from it. And you will not, you definitely understand what that means. It means that it looks as if the price is always a factor, especially after the increase that was occasioned with that very inaugural speech of Mr. President on May 29, 2023, when he talked about subsidy removal. But since after that very stand, looks as if filling stations are having the commodity, but many Nigerians are not buying the commodity.
That's because they cannot afford it. Because I imagine then you can actually travel with 10,000 naira fuel. Well, now imagine getting 30,000 naira fuel, and it won't even take you to your destination. Not to talk of bringing you back. So I think most persons, they don't have the money to afford it, and that's the reason we're having the reduction and the consumption of fuel. So it's not really about anything, it's just the price. They can't afford it. And thinking about our standard of living here, talking about a generator, do you think people really want to use a generator these days? They don't. And all thanks to the electricity, we've been having enough light, and so we don't really need the fuel. So that's it. So they can remove the subsidy if they so wish. We don't care at this point.
Well, anyway, that's what Mr. President has done, and I feel because of that, it's really affecting more of the filling stations not having enough. But anyway, we're still having enough time to talk, and let's see if we go straight to the Punch, which also has a major screamer. And that is, we're talking about local government polls that was held during the weekend in Rivers State. And funny enough, a PDP-controlled state that is having APC win many of the local government area, 20 in all, and PDP just managing 3 out of the 23 local government, and ADC none. But anyway, that's where it stands, and we also do know that Atiku Abubakar is screaming foul, especially as it concerns that very result. He feels it is, well, a pure, not true representation of the facts, and he feels, well, more might have really happened as it concerns that. But we do know the powerhouse in Rivers State, as we're talking about the former governor and the recent Federal Capital Territory Minister, Nyesom Wike, is applauding the result and saying, well, it went as it should. And many are saying it looks as if he's trying to reassert his control as it concerns Rivers State.
Remember we had this discussion about some weeks back when we talked about the by-elections, and then APC came out, and I said something that this is just like a rehearsal for what we are going to see in 2027. We don't like APC, we don't like APC, but people still end up voting for them. So who are the persons voting for them? That is one thing I am still yet to get. But just know, I don't know why Atiku is always screaming though, but the truth is this is just a rehearsal of what to expect. So if you want to tighten your seatbelt, I feel this is the right time to do it. You still have like 2 years, right?
Yeah,
before the election. So you can tighten your seatbelt now, because this is, like I said, a rehearsal of what we're going to face on the next presidential election. Well,
the message is not far from the truth, especially as it concerns that very election. Everybody seems to be really working it out and staging themselves as more as repositioning themselves. And no surprise, the Minister of Aviation came out just recently to say, well, feeding former President Goodluck Billy Jonathan or Peter Obi, that's the PDP, would not really give them more ground. And well, anyways, the APC, with El-Rufai coming to say, well, if we go and do what we intend to do, then maybe Mr. President might come a distant third, especially as it concerns the election. But anyway, all is the political heat seems to be stirring high, and there's no surprise. Everybody seems to be staging themselves, getting ready for 2027. But where would you be? What party will you vote for? Well, not my concern, but that of yours, especially as we look or forge towards that very elections that will come pretty soon. But anyway, we're still with the papers because we still have more time to review most of them. And a major one, it seems to be that on that we saw on the front page of The Guardian. And yes, Messi, we're talking about the issue of positioning Nigeria as a global player in the $500 billion cosmetic industry. And no surprise, the women might be the ones encouraging that positioning, knowing that when it comes to cosmetics, well, definitely you know where it stands. So let me just sit back and let Messi do more of that talking. Nigerians seems to be repositioning themselves when it comes to the cosmetic industry. Yeah. And well, anyway, no surprise.
You
Messi,
can see that on my face. This
okay.
What we call cosmetics. So we spend more on cosmetics. We have to look good.
Yeah.
Mr. Michael just said it has to do with the women, but I feel we're trying to look good for the men.
Okay.
And then, so you should be able to spend. And the truth is, the men, you believe your money is not going into cosmetics. Your money is actually going into it.
Well,
not just the women's money. I can actually tax you for it, for cosmetics.
Wow.
And at the end of the day, your money is still going into it. So I don't think it personally affects the women. It affects both, because directly or indirectly, you are spending on cosmetics too. And don't tell me you don't rub a body cream.
Oh, come
That's
on,
part
Nancy.
of,
Let's
it's
leave
part
what
of
I rub on the
cosmetics.
show.
So it's part of the cosmetics, so you're also spending on cosmetics.
Well, no surprise, they are saying Nigeria needs to reposition itself to see how much they can get from that $500 billion annual cosmetic inflow. And if Nigerians seem to be doing more, talking about, well, like she said, not just the women, but the men also now having to also use major cosmetic products, then how can Nigeria also gain in that large market and indeed create not just foreign direct inflow of funds, but also see how they can also create jobs, especially as we look at all of that. But anyway, I doubt if we have more time to really look at the papers. Time is not a friend. So we'll definitely need to go on a break. And when we come back, dialogue will be next. But remember, the news will come around the hour. And, well, what seems to be trending? I don't know. Sit around and you enjoy all of that.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor Edi.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife, and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV. We wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined, uniquely different.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst, one of Nigerian comedy.
Alright guys, back again, yes boss, my name is Osh Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up people, it's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife Niger celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
the state is seen to be setting the pace on major grounds. Well, whatever side of the argument you seem to be, it is only right that we critically talk about this on this awesome and lovely edition of Dialogue. And that is we're talking at, or rather looking at the big heart at 34, looking at how far the state has come. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on Dialogue. We're looking at Delta State that has turned 34 years. And that happened just on the 27th day of August. And we're talking about last week. How far has the state come? And are we indeed, or rather the state, really setting the pace? And is the state really developed as those who pushed for its creation is? So all of that is what we're taking as a major discourse today on the Dialogue. And to really help us look at this, we're now being joined by no other person but Dickie Kempella is the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections. And he will be joining us virtually all the way from Abuja. Good morning, sir. I guess you can hear us, and welcome to Atlantic TV is the Dialogue. Good morning to you. Hello? Hello? Okay, let's see how we can have him join us, and we'll definitely be asking how far, or rather asking him some major questions as it concerns Delta turning 34. And if we definitely get him, okay, yes, we now have him. Hello, good morning to you, sir. Hello? Okay, let's see how we can really get all of that sorted out, and we'll definitely have him on board as we look at Delta State at 34. Many will say, is the state really edging well, and how far it has come in terms of industrialization, human capital development, education, and all that seems to be. And that's what we're really looking at today on the show. So like I said, we're now being joined by no other person but Dickie Kempella. He was rather the Labour Party governorship candidate in the last general elections. And we're talking about the 2023 general elections. He will be joining us virtually all the way from Abuja to help us give us an insight into what he feels the state has been. As we attained, or rather Delta State attained the height it should, or are we, or rather the state lacking behind? And if it's lacking behind, what needs to be done? All of that is taking center stage as we look at his own vision for the state as it concerns development and all that needs to be. And let's just see if we really get connected back and see how we can really have him to answer these major questions on this lovely edition of Dialogue. The first in the month of September and the first in the week. And definitely you do know how Mondays are, especially as we try to really assess and deal with some of the issues. Let's see if our technical team has really, yes, okay. Do we have him join us? Okay, let's see if we go on a break and we'll try and to see how we can have him join us. And when he does, we'll really love to get his views, especially as it concerns all of these right here on Viewpoint. Let's go on a break. We'll get him connected and we'll get our discussion going right here on Dialogue.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined, uniquely different.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
I need to welcome you back, and we just needed that so at least we can really reconnect to our guest right there. And we're talking of no other person but the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the last elections. We're talking about the 2023 elections, and we're talking of no other person but Dickin Kempela. Good morning to you, sir. Yeah, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great, and you?
I'm good. I'm good.
Well, nice to have you join us on this lovely edition of our dialogue. And like you do know, we're talking about Delta being 34 years since its creation. And that's what we're looking at. We want you to help us in your own assessment. We know definitely in 1991, when the creation of this state was done, it was created on the need of many calling for creation of a state that they will feel will aid development, will bring development to the people. And there was this great agitation from the people of Anyoma and the Delta region to have that state created. But in your own assessment, in the last 34 years, I want a honest view from you. Do you feel Delta State has attained that goal envisaged by those that agitated for its creation? Or do you feel Delta State is indeed lacking behind?
All right. Thank you for that. It's good to see you again, Michael.
Well, thank you. Nice to also see you, sir.
Yeah. Delta State, 34 years after. Well, a bit of history. We know that in the first 9 years, we had military rule,
yes,
with a short period of democracy where we had Michael Ibru as governor.
Yes.
So when I do this assessment, I wouldn't want to bother about that first 9 years.
Okay.
Because it would, you know, we really could, we cannot say we are in control,
yes,
of our destiny in
yes,
that period. Now, 1999, we then had a return to democracy. A return to democracy where as it were, we the people chose our leaders, and we had the first leadership of His Excellency James Ibori. I'm sure we all agree that there was so much excitement.
Yes.
So much excitement about what potential
Yes.
the state had and what the future held, because the state that, in terms of resources, 10% of Nigeria's gas reserves, have the highest production of oil. All right? We
Yes.
have mineral resources. We have some of the best human resources
Yes.
in this country. All right? We have arable land. We have the waterways. We state that had 4 ports, So there was so much excitement about what potential that this state had. But in that potential, I believe, has been wasted.
Okay.
Because we've had so far 26 years of that democracy.
Okay.
26 years of us, as it were, haven't chosen our leaders. Now, why do I say this? Some people will say, they're better than other states. But then you have to look at it in relation to what God has given us.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Now, and when I do that, I would compare us to Dubai.
Okay.
When I say make that comparison to Dubai, some people wonder, Dubai, that is too far now, that is night and day. But in 1999, Dubai's GDP was only 4 times that of Delta. Today, Dubai's GDP is miles away. And what is the difference? Because while we had the opportunity to go on the path of visionary leadership and guided development, we went on the wrong path of wasted opportunity.
Okay.
So I believe that we have wasted 26 years so far.
Okay, well,
Time is not.
yeah, well, thank you for your assessment. You feel we've wasted, or rather Delta State has wasted 26 years of uninterrupted democratic process. And we're right where we are now. And you're not really pleased with it. But I want us to narrow our discussion, or rather set the pace of our discussion in looking at the different sectors. I feel it will be fair if we judge them as they come. And one I want us to look at is that of education. We do know Delta State can pride itself of having intellectuals in almost every sphere. But let's look at education, because education definitely is the judging block where you can really define a society's development and how far it has come. So let's start with education. Now, are you comfortable with what Delta State has done in the last 26 years? And also, I would rather narrow your discussion in looking at what this very administration has also done as it concerns education. Is Delta State where it should be when we talk about education, especially of its people?
Okay. In terms of education,
yes,
of course, we could be much better. And when I say we could be much better, we have education, we have secondary education, and then we have tertiary education.
Yes.
Now, we still have schools in this state that are dead. People studying with leaking roofs. Now, what could we have done about that?
Okay.
We could have determined a model school system.
Yeah.
And began to be well-equipped primary schools. And when I say well-equipped, we're talking about schools that could have had all schools. And I'm not talking all schools could have had computer systems, could have had well-equipped labs. Okay? And there could have been very well spelled out curriculum.
Yes.
Such that by the time students go from the primary school to the secondary school, we would have a situation where by secondary school, they will be topping WAEC. All right? But that's not the case. All right? Now, we pay lip service to a lot of things. So we then had a situation where, okay, so we just jumped into tertiary education and we built campuses, or how many universities?
Four universities are what Delta State presently have.
None of them is top class. All right? For some of them, they're as good as glorified secondary schools. Okay, so there's still a lot to be lacking in terms of education.
Okay. Let's come back to that of primary and secondary education, because before we go to that of the tertiary institution, which you feel are more like glorified secondary schools. This government prides itself in having rehabilitated about 230 classrooms in the last 2 years, and also have trained about 4,000 teachers. Now, let's look at that. We're judging the statistics as it's been reeled out by this administration. Do you feel it's a far cry from where Delta should naturally be, especially as it concerns primary and secondary schools? Because if we do not have it at the primary and secondary school level, definitely at the tertiary level, it will look as if we've done nothing. So let's look at what they said they've done. Because just 2 weeks ago, this administration came out to say they intend to do more. But thus far, in the last 2 years, they've been able to rehabilitate 230 schools. If you take that back to where we were 8 years back, it looks as if they've done more.
All right. How I will address this question is in relation to results. Okay?
Yeah.
On one hand, you can say that we have innovated, and there's something about propaganda versus actual results.
Okay.
Okay? Now, accountability is, you can judge accountability based on, okay, we will do from the beginning, you say we will do so much.
Yes.
And the result of doing so much will give us Y. So we'll do X. The result of doing X will result in Y in terms of performance.
Yeah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Now, we don't have a clear metric about what the government says it will do, say in 4 years, so you can measure.
Okay.
All right? Now, that's what we will do. How will it result in performance? So let me give an example. We have a governor in this country who, when he took over education, when he took over government,
yes,
all right,
yeah,
his school or his schools in his state were ranking 26th, all right, and then based on the measures he put in place, by the end of his tenure, or in a short while, the schools were ranking number 1 in education. That is outcome.
Okay.
Do you get my point?
Yes.
So what we have a lot of in government is propaganda.
Okay, Dickie, yes.
We don't see it in terms of results.
Okay. And I'll plead with you to hold on because of time. We need to really also spread our discussion. We've just talked about education. Now, I want us to go to healthcare, which is also a major one as it concerns the great citizens of this very state. Now, are you also comfortable with where we are, or the state is as it concerns our health, and what this administration has done in that regard? And I'll just please allow you to make me give some very statistics that they also gave to us. Now, they said in primary health care, this administration has done a lot, especially the Delta State Contributory Health Commission, which they said has increased health insurance enrollment for informal sector workers. And not only that, we know recently, in May to be precise, we saw the distribution of almost 8 dialysis machines and 23 4D ultrasound scan machines to public health facilities across the state, just to say the least. So my question now, looking at where we are as it concerns healthcare, I also do know, I like to narrow things down, that also the mother-to-child mortality rate is a bit still not comfortable as it should be, especially for a state. But I want you to just naturally look at healthcare as it is in the last decade and a half, and also look at what this administration is doing. Are we where we should be, especially as it concerns the healthcare of our people?
You ask me question, you answer it now. When you talk, see.
Well, I need to balance it up. I'm more like the devil's advocate. I'll bring the good and bring the bad and bring it to your table.
You see, the problem is the same.
Okay.
Now, if you for a lot of people, they would end up using the facilities because they don't have a choice.
Okay.
But the fact of the matter would be that most people who can afford it would not use the facilities.
Yeah.
They will use private hospitals. All right?
Yeah.
Once they can afford it. That's the measure of whether it's working or not. All right? We should be able to have a situation where everybody would want to use that healthcare, the healthcare facilities, not because that's what they can afford, but because that's what is the best.
Okay.
But that's not the situation. All right? So for me, it's the same thing. The statistics, I don't have them exactly on the tip of my fingers, but you just gave me an example of mortality rate. All right? So it's for me, I look at things from a more holistic perspective. All right? From a more holistic perspective, in the sense that, when I say we could have done a lot more, let's take, I'll give an example.
Okay.
I visited the US a few weeks ago, a few months ago, and I took out time to visit UC Davis Hospital.
Okay.
All right. It's the University of California Hospital. Okay. And so you can compare it to our University Teaching Hospital, O'Hara. It's night and day in terms of the kind of facilities, in terms of the kind of administration, in terms of the fact that they've done it in such a way that the place has become largely self-sufficient from donors and so on and so forth. So, and they are developing new facilities every day. The biggest problem in our state is the fact that we've become so ingrown that we keep sharing the shrinking cake. Now we think it's a cake because the allocations are getting bigger. But the fact remains that it's shrinking Inflation is shrinking it. Growth in population is shrinking it. Foreign exchange rate is shrinking it. And we are not growing a bigger economic state. We are not finding new sources to grow our sources of income or our alternatives in terms of funding our infrastructure. That's a bigger problem for me than the individual silos of sectors that you're referring to. Because when you're comparing those sectors, you're comparing those sectors based on the small money we get.
But so King Kefela, hello, sir. You talked about us, or rather Delta State, having more as it concerns on the table, grow their economy, increase their GDP. But would you also say this government has done credibly well, especially as it concerns infrastructural development? And one I want us to look at is the recent statement coming from this government. Now, in 2023, Delta State was owing a debt of almost 373.21 billion naira. And just recently, the state government came out to say they've paid about 280 billion of that very amount, and they've not borrowed a single dime in all the infrastructure they are doing. So is that not a plus to this administration as they move away from, even if they are not creating enough, but they are not also go cap in hand, borrowing from international and local source? Is this government not doing enough as it concerns that already? Looking at the massive construction project that's cut across the country, the state itself.
All right. In terms of sometimes I wonder whether it is real or whether it's creative accounting. I wrote a piece on 2 years of this administration called Letter to Deltans number 3. All right? Yeah. And based on what you are asking, I would want to read from that piece.
Well, by all means.
Debt reduction or creative accounting.
Okay.
While the government claims to have reduced total debt from 465.3 billion naira in 2023 to 249.2 billion naira in December 2024, which is supposed to be a 46.4% drop. Yes. This achievement lacks independent verification. Meanwhile, official debt management office figures indicated a conflicting rise in debt through 2023 and into 2024. So, for example, within a single quarter in 2024, debt reported by 42.5 billion naira, thus conflicting state claims of zero new borrowing.
Okay.
Moreover, within 2 weeks of taking office, the administration secured a 40 billion naira facility to clear local government pensions, a noble action, all right? Yeah. But also something that we need an independently audited debt reconciliation. You know, the numbers themselves are totally suspect.
Okay, well, well, it's interesting as we're looking for, as you just said, we need more of an independent auditor to come verify all of those figures. But let's leave there. I still want us to remain with the issue of job creation, because that's another major one that's also a big one for us. We do know that Delta State is the 23rd largest in terms of landmass and the 12th most populous state with an estimated 7.8 million citizens. Now let's look at job creation, and not only that, but human capital development. What's your take on this, especially as it concerns the state? And do you see us, or rather, do you see Delta State taking a different turn? And what should that turn be, especially as we try to increase our human capital development and job creation in the state? In your own assessment.
This is an aspect, in fact, the topic that's very dear to my and I'm excited to talk about.
I would love you to go ahead.
Because when I talk, usually you may have heard me say it over and over, and I say it with passion.
Yes.
The job of doing infrastructure, doing this, doing that, is the job of government. It not be their money they take the drum. So we should not be clapping for them. It is something that should happen as a matter of course. Okay?
Yeah.
It is what they do about creating jobs and expanding the economy that is what is important. Okay? I said earlier that one of the biggest problems is that we are sharing a shrinking cake, or a cake that at best tastes the same, or maybe a cake that seems to increase because so they've taken away fuel subsidy, and then
There's enough money to
allocations
share.
increase. All right, so we jump and begin to climb. Okay, so now you are doing maybe almost ₦1 trillion in a year, or 600 million, 700 million, or something like that, and we're happy. Oh, wait. But the truth of the matter is that Delta State is a minimum, should have been a minimum of 3 to 4 trillion naira in GDP.
You're talking about internal generated revenue.
And internally, but and now I'm talking about GDP.
Okay.
Okay. Now, in terms of revenue, because based on whatever the economy brings.
Yes.
Now, and let me explain why we keep looking at job creation from the perspective of handouts.
Okay.
So we say that keke, give somebody keke, make it go the ride. Okay, as of today, the jobs in Delta, we have so much unemployment. The jobs that the people are finding to do small in Delta is either the very risky job of keke riding or POS machines. All right. Now, your question, could we go a different route?
Yeah.
Most definitely. We have a plan. And I say it like this. We want to engender prosperity with 8 prosperity drivers. I say that people have did not quite understand what I was talking about. But in the last few months, I have taken the pains to put together an 86-page job creation manual. Okay? I call it a job creation manual because that is the job of what the prosperity drivers are supposed to do. And it brings out how, with those prosperity drivers, how they will be faced and how each one will affect the lives of Deltans in terms of their impact on the economy. So if you permit me, I would summarize.
Because of time, we really need you to summarize that.
Yes, I would just give me a minute and I would summarize each of those, in terms of the effect of the 8 prosperity drivers. Now, for the power and gas utilization, okay, that manual gives you a strategy.
Okay.
Then it gives you the strategic initiative, step by step, what we will do. Then it gives you how it will be phased. Phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And then it will then give what is it will compare it. It compares it to what is happening today.
Yeah.
Okay? And then it gives you the projected economic and job impact over the 12-year period of the plan. All right? For power and gas utilization, it would generate 3.5 to 4 trillion naira in annual economy. It will create over 800,000 new jobs in energy infrastructure development and maintenance, off-grid solar, hybrid mini grids, and battery storage systems, modular gas to, the sector.
Yeah.
It will give universal power access for over 5 million deltas, 24/7 electricity. It will reduce energy costs for MSMEs by 50 to 70. It would unlock productivity gains by over 600 billion. And then we will have 1.5 trillion in climate finance and private capital mobilized into Delta's economy. And Delta would have become Nigeria's clean energy innovation leader.
Okay.
Then it lists the areas that the jobs will be created in, and like I said, contrasts with the current administration's what they are currently doing. Now,
excuse me, sir. Before you go further, I'll plead with you to hold on. Yeah, we know in July, you just talked about power, but we also know in July, this very administration also kind of set up a roadmap to also see how they can decentralize mini-grid model and establish a new regulatory body to drive sustainable power markets. And they did that just in July, which is almost a layout of what they feel it will go. So I want you to look at this model you've talked about and look at what they intend to do. Don't you feel they're in the right position and that will indeed generate more jobs?
It doesn't go far enough.
Okay.
It doesn't go far enough. All right? I've not fully studied. There's the new energy bill and all the Energy Act and all that. So I've not fully studied it, but glancing through it, it doesn't go far enough.
Okay.
Because what it does is that it puts them in a regulatory, not in a driver's position.
Okay, capacity. Okay. Okay.
Okay? It doesn't, the plan doesn't also say how it's going to drive the process. This plan says how it drives the process. And I was going to conclude with the promise. Okay. Instead of burning value into the air, we will convert it into jobs, enterprise, and global competitiveness. By connecting gas to GDP, we will transform Delta from a flaring state to a flourishing one, where power is not a privilege, but the driver of prosperity. Electricity is not just light. It's livelihood, learning, and leverage for our people. Now, the second prosperity driver is 10 agro, industrial, and tech-driven destination cities.
Okay.
Following the same pattern, all right? The job creation manual outlines the strategy.
Okay.
Okay, and because of time, I won't take time to go through them.
Yes, because of time, please.
But it outlines the strategy, okay? It gives the strategic imperatives. Now, maybe I should talk a bit about the strategic imperatives. Now, we will specialize by zone. Each of Delta's 10 federal constituencies will host one purpose-built city, anchored around 10 key sectors from local resources, geographical strengths, and economic opportunity. This ensures balanced development and optimized value chain clustering across the state. So the Undokwa and Ukwani axis, indicative sectoral focus will be rice and agro processing. The energy role will be gas to power hub, digital and energy zone. Ughelli North South will do hub, cassava and agro logistics. It will be an industrial energy zone. And so we detail, okay, zone by zone, what that will do. And then the detailed, of the strategy.
Okay.
Now, we also then talk about, one thing I'll talk about here is that the Delta Technical and Talent Academies.
Yeah.
Each city will host a DTTA satellite campus, equipping Delta youth with future-ready skills in clean energy, digital technology, agro-industrial systems, active enterprise. These academies will serve as
Deacon Kempela, I would really love you to reel out more of these, maybe in our future discussion because of time. Because all we're really looking at is where Delta is at the moment and how far it has come. And it looks as if in all indication, with all of your analysis, you're not really comfortable of where Delta is at the moment. But undermining, we're talking about Delta, I will plead with you, let's shift a bit and come to a national sense of our discussion. And one that many Nigerians, and especially Deltas, would like to hear from you. Hello?
Michael,
yes.
Before we do that, I will just say that every Deltan, every Deltan and well-meaning Nigerian, and anybody that loves Delta, please look for the job creation manual. It's available on our social media channels for you to download.
Okay.
All right? And please take a look at it.
Okay, anyway, we'll charge you for commercials for that, most certainly.
It's not a commercial. It's not being sold. It's free. It's free.
Okay.
It is a public service announcement.
Okay, we'll charge you for commercials on that. Be rest assured, my marketing team is coming for you on that.
I will recommend it to you, Michael. You guys pick it.
Okay.
Pick a copy and break it down for your audience.
Okay, I will do that as we even try to look at what that will do for Deltas. But like I said, let's come to a national level. And many Deltas are really interested to know, sir. I do know your principle, and I'm talking of no other person but the presidential candidate of the Labour Party in the last general elections, Peter Obi. Many are a bit confused where he is and where you are, because we could still understand that he is still a member of the Labour Party, but basically we are seeing him in meetings in the ADC. So let's understand your position. Where are you and your principle at the moment? Are you guys still in the Labour Party or you are with the ADC? Let's understand all of that. Deltans will love to know.
Okay. We are both still members of the Labour Party.
Okay.
A few weeks ago, I was with him when the governorship candidate of Anambra State flagged off his campaign.
Okay.
And he said it very clearly that this is 2025. As of today, we are members of the Labour Party.
Okay.
But that doesn't stop us from, because our primary goal is to see Nigeria work.
Okay.
And be better for everybody.
Okay.
All right? My primary goal, yes, on one hand is to see Nigeria work, but more specifically, Delta work. Okay? And achieve its potential. So, in doing that, you will explore all possibilities of how you're going to achieve that.
Okay.
All right? And one of those possibilities is coalition talks with certain people who have agreed that as of today, the ADC will be the best vehicle to tackle this administration for the 2027 elections. Okay? But we are still members of the Labour Party.
Okay. Now, let's also try to understand, as much as you say you're members of the Labour Party, we're also getting feeders that the People's Democratic Party might also be interested in bringing Peter Obi as their presidential candidate if all indication goes right, especially with them also poaching former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. But my question, if that comes to be, I know you're talking about the ADC, would Peter Obi not also want to vie? I know you might not really want to speak for him, but do you see him, if the PDP comes calling, pleading that definitely he comes to be their presidential candidate? Because we saw it today in the papers. The Minister of Aviation, Festus Keyamo, is telling the PDP not to make the mistake of bringing Peter Obi into the PDP to vie as the presidential candidate. So I want your reaction with that. Do you see him jumping ship and going to the PDP if, and I still insist, if he's being called upon to be their flag bearer in the 2027 general elections?
Okay. In answering that question, I'm not going to answer for him, but in answering that question, I would paraphrase him. All right? He says he wouldn't be part of anything that wants to seize power for seizing power's sake.
Okay.
Okay? But he will be all for everything that makes the lives of Nigerians better. So if coalition talks with ADC or whatever, and the aim at the end of the day is we want to take power from the APC. If PDP own, well, okay, PDP share the money. For us to be able to share the money again, it will become and be president. He is for whatever would improve the lives of Nigerians.
Okay.
Not seizing power for seizing power's sake. That is what I also stand for.
So my next question will now be a bit personal and coming to you. If he now agrees to move to any of the party, are you going along with him?
Peter Obi is my party.
I didn't get you. You said what?
I said Peter Obi is my party.
Well, anyway, he's more of a person.
but let me put it in context.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I've been on this political journey.
Yeah.
From when I decided that I was going to run for local government in 2020.
Okay.
So 25 odd years.
Yeah.
And the system, when one had gotten to a point where one had almost given up that this country will change in my lifetime. I turned 61 a few days ago.
Oh, congratulations.
And in 2022, I had turned 59, or no, 2022, I turned 58, going on 59, when this phenomenon, Peter Obi, appeared on the scene.
Yeah.
And I began to see a change in our political landscape.
Okay.
Okay? People began to believe that it was possible.
Okay.
And I began to believe again. All right?
Yeah.
And so for me, this is the closest. It's make or break. This is the closest that for some of us of our generation will ever come to Nigeria changing in our lifetime. Okay? So that is putting Peter Obi is my party in context.
Okay. Well, anyway, what a way to really cap things up today on the show. And really, time is not a friend. And I need to thank you. And I know how really busy you are. You need to even fly away from the state you are now to somewhere else. But we needed to pin you down to give us this lovely discussion. And I'm truly grateful. And I'm talking of no other person but Deacon Ken Pella. You do know he's the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the last elections, the 2022 elections. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on board and giving us your insight, not just necessarily on what you feel Delta should be, but your pain as you feel Delta has not attained that, and also giving us an insight on where we know you will definitely be in the next coming elections and where Peter Obi will definitely take his stand. Thank you for all of that. We truly appreciate you. But we always also say that on Atlantic TV, we'll be always willing to call upon you any other time for you to also give us an insight on what you need.
Anytime, I'm a call away.
Okay. Well, we truly appreciate that. Thank you so much, sir, for your time with us. We really appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much. Well, anyway, that's more like a wrap on Dialogue today. Like we talked about Delta, the big house at 34 years. And we had a great interview, one-on-one with the governorship candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 general elections in Delta State, giving us his view of how Delta has been in the last 34 years, knowing that in the last 26 years there have been uninterrupted democratic process in the state, and he feels the present administration needs to do more as in concerns some indices, and that's been reeled out. We're talking about that of human capital development, and most certainly that of health and education. But anyway, that's more like a wrap for us today on the show. We'll always implore you to go drop your comment on our social media platform. Let's get those questions coming, and we'll always pride ourselves, we're talking about Atlantic TV, of bringing a top-notch interview and personalities on the show, just for them to give you their views as it concerns some of the major topics we'll be having, and that for sure will definitely come. But what I know will come is trendy. And as much as we also get the news, it's still Viewpoint on Atlantic TV, but a wrap-up on Dialogue.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
My name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Osh, baby.
CME Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor 80.
Girl Niniola.
My name is my wife and just celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different. Ruth Gender Foundation.
I'm Ruth Edema Collins. I hold a first degree in physics electronics, a postgraduate qualification in business administration, and a nationally certified French language tutor. Career-wise, I'm an educational facilitator. I'm the managing director at Atlantic Media and TV, and I'm also a director at Rukotech Integrated Services Nigeria Limited. I'm a wife and a mother, and I like dressing up to show up. Yeah, so that's basically me. Thank you. Root Gender Foundation was inspired from my personal experiences growing up as a young girl in a typical Nigerian environment. For me, it was being different. It made people bully me, abuse me, and harass me. I was always misunderstood and underrated. Root Gender is a foundation that is dedicated to building confidence in the Nigerian girl child through educational and inspirational programs, like supporting programs that promote girl child education. We also organize physical exercises for our young girls for the overall well-being of their mental and physical states, and also for the acquisition of self-defense skills. We also sensitize girls on laws that protect them. In our constitution, a lot of girls do not know that they have rights, that there are laws that protect their interests in Nigeria. Hence, they are vulnerable, they are living in fear, which is stopping them from reaching their full potentials. So we sensitize them on the laws that protect their interests. This, like I said, is visioned towards building confidence in the Nigerian girl child. So that is just a wrap up of what we do at Root Gender Foundation. I would say I resonate with the struggles and the challenges of the girl child, particularly the Warri girl child. I happen to grow up in the heart of Warri. From an average background. My family is an average one, but I experienced a lot. Like I said, I was bullied, I was overlooked, I was harassed for being a different child, for daring to be different, and nobody was taking note and tapping into my potentials. So my interest for the girl child is I would love to be a voice for the girl child. They need people to believe in them. They need people to speak for them. I also want the Warri girl child to know that there is hope beyond the reef. I want them to see the bigger picture. I want them to know that they can compete on global platforms. They can compete on international platforms, and they can do very well. We have the likes of Ada Gold, or Maumi, and the rest of them. They are all competing very well on international platforms, and I know that you too can do that, and I want you to know that is why we are here. Root Gender Foundation is here to make you understand that you can actually be what you want to be. as part of our objectives at Root Gender Foundation, we are dedicated to promoting girl-child education. Like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. I represent the brand the African Girl Child because I have gone through the struggles from there to here. So giving 2 million to the best female participants is just a way to share them on. It's just a way to make them know that we believe in you. I believe in you. You can look up to us. We are sharing you on. It is not about the money. We believe in your potential. We want our girls to know that you are doing the right thing at the right time. You are in the right place, and this is what you should be doing. That's why we are supporting you, and we will always be here to support you. Girl-child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect our girl child. You know, my NGO, we've been pursuing a bill that we will see to be passed. We are asking that our girls should be allowed to carry pepper spray as weapons of self-defense. Because if you look at it, our women have nothing to protect themselves. They are just there by the grace of God. So we are pursuing laws that will protect the girl child. So empowerment, girl child empowerment to me is enforcing laws that protect the girl child, educating the girl child on time and money management, financial literacy, and equipping them with self-defense skills. Also, access to quality education. This to me is girl child empowerment and nothing more. A girl child must possess effective communication skills. They should be able to communicate effectively. A girl child should be financially literate. She should know how to manage her finances, and she should also know how to manage her time. Yes. Also, most importantly, another skill is self-awareness. It's important for our girls to know who they are, to believe in themselves. That's the vision of our NGO, building confident girls that can achieve their full potentials in Nigeria. That is our NGO's vision. So yeah, those are some of the skills I believe that the girl child should possess. She needs role models. She needs people that have led that path and have made it. Our young girls need role models. That's why we have to do better. We have to do the work. We have to bridge the gap. We have to share them on like we are doing. You can achieve your dreams. First, you have to make education your best friend. Every effort you put into learning will always be there for you to never fail you. Boys will break your heart, people will break your heart, but every effort you put towards learning anything, everything will always come through for you. So for you to achieve your dreams, look towards the right people, look towards the right direction. There are people that have achieved in that route. I will encourage you to look up to them, learn from them. That is just the way to achieve your dreams. My message to the Warri child, like I said, I represent the brand Warri Girl Child. We are letting the world know that we are not vile, we are not roused, we are educated, we compete intellectually, we have good things ahead of us. We can do it on the global platform, we can do it on the national platform, and we are everything there is to be a woman. I would encourage you, Warri Girl Child, make education your best friend. Make education your best friend. Learn new things. Learn new languages. Okay? And the sky will be your starting point. We are always here to share you up. Don't forget that my name is Ruth Edema Collins from Root Gender Foundation, and from all of us wishing you the best, we say keep watching Atlantic TV.
Ruth Gender Foundation. Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different. When the lights go out, who do you call? Ticado! Ticado Energy Solutions Limited, your plug for electrical power, surveillance system, and entertainment. From expert electrical installation to efficient eco-friendly solar inverter systems, no matter the size, Ticado delivers smart energy solutions designed for today and tomorrow. We also help you secure your space with our cutting-edge security and surveillance system. Enjoy crystal clear entertainment with our professional DSTV and cable TV installation. Visit Ticado today at Block F4, Suite 41 and 42, HFP East Line Plaza, Abraham Adesanya, Aja, Lagos. Or call 0906 902 5025 or 0815 176 6817. Explore our services at ticado.com.ng. Ticado Energy Solutions Limited. Power, protection, peace. Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Hello, good day, and welcome to our daily news roundup. I am Nkichi Tejere. Here are our top stories. Federal government bars consultants, coal members from 2026 payroll. Federal government moves to phase out wooden boats after fatal mishaps. Delta governor vows justice after Abraka shooting. Olu of Warri swears in new Ugbarajo Ishekiri youth executives. UK bans 100 jobs from foreign recruitment to curb migration. Bayern Munich eye Nigeria's Lookman in shock loan move. Now to the news in full. The federal government has ordered all ministries, departments and agencies to exclude consultants, corps members and other non-permanent workers from their personnel payroll in the 2026 budget. The directive is contained in the 2026 Personnel Cost Budget called Circular, dated July 7, 2025, and signed by the Director General of the Budget Office, Tamino Yakubu. The circular warns that any unauthorized payments from personnel budgets will attract sanctions, stressing that only legitimate federal employees should appear on the nominal roll. The circular clarifies that corps members' allowances will be centrally captured under the NYSC budget, while additional stipends from host agencies must come from overhead. It also bars MDAs from budgeting for anticipatory promotions, mandating that only duly approved promotions be reflected in personnel costs. To strengthen oversight, the government announced a personnel cost monitoring dashboard linked to IPPIS and GIFMIS for real-time tracking of personnel spending. All MDAs are to submit their 2026 personnel budget proposals as at July 15th, 2025, and a third quarter performance review report by September 30th, 2025. The federal government is urging state governments to immediately stop the use of wooden boats and embrace fiber and aluminium vessels to improve safety and modernize water transport. Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Mr. Adigboyega Oyetola, made this known while condoling with the victims and families of the Shagari boat mishap in Sokoto State. He said the tragedy was a direct consequence of the continued reliance on unsafe wooden boats. Oyetola stressed that despite recent interventions, including the nationwide distribution of 3,500 life jackets to each riverine state, boat mishaps persist largely because of the structural weaknesses of wooden vessels. He described the wooden boats as outdated and unsafe for modern commercial operations, emphasizing that fiber and aluminium boats, being sturdier, safer, and more durable, represents the global standard. The minister called on state governments, especially those with large riverine populations, to urgently invest in these modern boats, describing such steps as both life-saving and economically strategic. The federal government is moving tough against electricity generating companies, warning of disconnection from the national grid over repeated infractions. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NEC, has directed all GENCOs to activate free governor control across their generating units from September 1st. The Commission says the move is aimed at stabilizing the grid following incessant nationwide collapses. The order, signed by NEC Vice Chairman Musiliu Oseni and Commissioner Dafe Akbeneye, states that any GENCO that fails to comply by November 30th will face a 10% penalty on invoices. Units that default for 90 consecutive days risk outright disconnection from the grid. NEC insists the measure will enforce strict compliance with the grid code and improve reliability in the delivery of power nationwide. The Commission says it is acting under the Electricity Act 2023 to safeguard the nation's energy security. You're watching our daily news roundup right here on Atlantic TV. We'll go on a short break. More news stories when we return.
All right, my name is Desoka, the comedy catalyst of one of Nigerian comedy.
All right, guys, back again. Yes, boss. My name is Baby.
Yemi Alade.
Yeah, what up, people? It's your boy Victor AD.
Girl Ninyola.
My name is my wife, Niger celebrity type man.
My papa say, who won't carry cow, waka go, waka follow the cow. I know the life for you.
I see you know you're watching the Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV. Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Keep watching Atlantic TV.
Atlantic TV.
Informative, educative, interesting, entertaining.
Worldwide, international.
Don't go anywhere, I'll catch you.
Don't touch that die. Atlantic TV. Boom.
Atlantic TV, we wanna party.
Atlantic TV. Culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Welcome back. Governor Sharif Obrewari of Delta State has promised justice over the tragic killing of a woman in Abraka by security operatives on Saturday. In a statement released through his chief press secretary, Sir Festus Ahon, the governor described the incident as very unfortunate and extended condolences to the bereaved family. According to reports, the woman was struck by a bullet when security operatives allegedly opened fire while pursuing suspected criminals. She was rushed to hospital but confirmed dead on arrival. Governor Borewari stressed that the tragedy could have been avoided if due procedures were followed, and he urged security agencies to exercise maximum restraint and professionalism in their operations. He assured residents that investigations are ongoing and reiterated his administration's commitment to safeguarding lives and properties across the states. Suspended Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara and his loyalists were notably absent on Saturday during the state's local government elections. Fubara was missing in action in his hometown Opobo Nkoro local government area, where electoral materials arrived at his ward by 11 a.m., but he never showed up until voting ended at 3:30 p.m. Top allies, including Chief of Staff Edison Ehie, Secretary to the state government Dr. Tammy Danagogo, and members of the Simplified Movement also stayed away from the polls. Reports suggest Fubara had traveled to London and did not return before the election. His absence comes as he eyes a possible comeback on September 18th, when his suspension imposed under emergency rule is expected to lapse. President Bola Tinubu had suspended Fubara, his deputy, and state lawmakers in March after a protracted crisis with FCT Minister Nyesom Wike. Though both men later reconciled, the fresh local government poll was part of their political truce. For now, observers say all eyes remain on September 18th, when the suspended governor may reclaim his seat. The House of Representatives has dismissed reports of a planned showdown with Speaker Abbas Tajuddin, describing the claim as misleading and unfounded. In a statement by its spokesman, Akin Rotimi Jr., the House faulted media reports suggesting that delays in constituency project funding were fueling discontent against the Speaker. Rotimi insisted the report was based on isolation remarks from informal WhatsApp conversations and did not reflect the official position of any caucus or the House. The statement stressed that the 10th Assembly remains united under Abbas despite political, ethnic, and religious diversity. While admitting that contractor payments have been delayed, Rotimi clarified that the issue cuts across national projects and is not peculiar to lawmakers' constituency interventions. He noted that the House leadership has been engaging the Finance Ministry with payments already underway and assured that all outstanding 2024 obligations would be settled soon. Rotimi further cautioned against misrepresenting lawmakers' concerns, adding that while pressure from constituents is valid, it must be understood within the current fiscal realities. You're watching our Daily News Roundup. We'll go for yet another break. When we return, more news stories to come.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. Now to some business stories. The Corporate Affairs Commission, CAC, has again extended the implementation of its reversed service fees. In a statement on Saturday, the Commission said the move is to allow full stabilization of its upgraded company registration portal before the middle of September 2025. The new service fees will now take effect from October 1st, 2025. The Commission added that the deferment is part of efforts to deliver optimum value to stakeholders while it works towards building an intelligent, customer-centric registry that meets global standards. It will be recalled that the CAC had earlier postponed the implementation of the new fees from July 22nd to September 1st, citing adjustments to the upgraded portal. The management has now reassured customers of its commitment to improving efficiency and service delivery. Nigeria and Brazil are stepping up economic cooperation with a focus on payment systems, fintech, and mobile money expansion. The discussions were held in Brasilia between the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, and his Brazilian counterpart, Gabriel Galipolo, during President Bola Tinubu's state visit to Brazil. According to the CBN, the talks formed part of a broader working visit by its delegation to the Banco Central do Brasil, which also included technical sessions on monetary policy, financial stability, and regulatory cooperation. Cardoso described the meeting as an opportunity to deepen institutional collaboration and exchange expertise, noting that Nigeria is building a more resilient financial system to attract capital, harness diaspora remittances, and expand financial inclusion. He further emphasized that Brazil's experience in digital finance offers lessons for Nigeria, while Nigeria's vibrant fintech ecosystem provides insights that can benefit Brazil. The CBN says the partnership could also strengthen remittance flows, especially through Brazil's large Afro-Brazilian community, the biggest population of African descent outside Africa. Away for some business stories now, the Olu of Warri, His Majesty Ogiamia Tuwashe III, CFR, has officially sworn in the newly elected executives of the Ugbarajo Ishekiri Youth Association. The swearing-in held earlier today at the Olu's Palace marks a new chapter for the foremost Ishekiri youth body. The brief but historic ceremony was witnessed by invited dignitaries and stakeholders. Joseph Okotie, who emerged as president during the elections held on August 30th, took the oath alongside other executives including Shaye Mene as first vice president, Stephen Ahmed Juma as second vice president, and Lily White Omasanjua Esigbone as third vice president, among others. In his remarks, the Olu of Warri charged the new leaders to embrace service, integrity, and inclusivity, urging them to unite Ishekiri youths while preserving the kingdom's values and heritage. The swearing-in ushers in fresh leadership for the Uyiya, with high expectations that the new executive will address challenges confronting the Ishekiri youths and foster greater unity in Warri Kingdom. Hundreds of Niger Delta youths have stormed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited headquarters in Abuja in a massive show of solidarity with the group chief executive officer, Engineer Bayo Ojulari. The protesters dismissed recent agitations against him, insisting that Ojulari remains a reform-minded leader committed to transparency and energy security. The protesters, who converged at the NNPCL towers, carried placards with inscriptions affirming Ojulari's leadership and reforms in the oil and gas sector. They described him as a technocrat whose vision had restored confidence among stakeholders and host communities. In a sharp rebuke, the youths condemned a recent protest staged by the Ijaw Youth Council, describing it as politically motivated and unrepresentative of the true aspirations of the Niger Delta youths. They further urged President Bola Tinubu and the federal government to sustain support for Ojulari's reforms, which they say are critical to boosting oil production, strengthening community partnerships, and ensuring accountability in the sector. Security operatives were on the ground to maintain order as the Solidarity March remained peaceful. The Solidarity March comes amid growing controversies in the oil and gas industry, but these Niger Delta youths insist that Ojulari's track record is proof of his commitment to fairness, accountability, and national development. And now to some foreign stories. The United Kingdom government has announced a major clampdown on foreign recruitment, banning more than 100 occupations from being filled by overseas workers in a bid to cut net migration. The Home Office confirmed the policy shift in a statement on X on Saturday morning, saying the move is aimed at reshaping the visa system while opening up more opportunities for British citizens. Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer, who assumed office on July 2024 after Labour's landslide win, has continued to roll out strict immigration reforms under his administration. The banned occupations cut across hospitality, logistics, healthcare support, public services, and the creative industries, a move critics warn could deepen labour shortages, especially in health and social care. Reports have it that while the Home Office has not yet released the full updated list, the sweeping ban will affect thousands of foreign workers who previously relied on these roles for legal employment. The government insists the new rules are part of creating a fairer, skills-focused system that prioritizes local talent. Opposition voices, however, argue the policy could strain key sectors already struggling with staffing shortages. The Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, is strengthening Nigeria's defense ties with China to boost the Nigerian Air Force operational capacity and fleet modernization. Abubakar, who is on a week-long working visit to China, led a high-powered delegation to Beijing, Harbin, and Chengdu, engaging leading aviation and defense companies on technology transfer, spare parts supply, and expanded training opportunities for NAF personnel. A major highlight was his meeting with the China National Aerotechnology Import and Export Corporation, where fresh agreements were sealed for after-sales support and timely maintenance of NAF assets. The delegation also inspected a Z-20 utility helicopter, the JF-17B prototype fighter jet, and toured China's AVIC Unmanned Aerial Systems Company. The air chief said the engagements were crucial for improving intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance needed for counter-terrorism and internal security back home. Abubakar concluded that the visit consolidated Nigeria's defense diplomacy and reaffirmed its place as a reliable partner in global security. Away from that now to some sporting stories. Bayern Munich are making headlines in the transfer market with a surprise move for Nigeria international Ademola Lookman. Reports say the German giants have approached Atalanta with a loan proposal for the 27-year-old forward. The deal includes a significant fee and an option to buy at a substantial price. Lookman is said to be open to the move, eager for a fresh challenge after 2 prolific seasons in Italy, where he scored 37 goals and provided 17 assists. Atalanta, however, remains cautious, especially after rejecting Inter Milan's interest earlier in the window. The development also comes days after Chelsea blocked Bayern's loan move for Nicolas Jackson. Lookman's biggest career highlight came in the 2024 Europa League final, a stunning hat-trick that ended Bayer Leverkusen's unbeaten run and delivered Atalanta's first ever European trophy. There are major transfer moves making headlines tonight in European football. Aston Villa's World Cup winning goalkeeper Emiliano Martinez is on the verge of joining Manchester United. Reports say Martinez has already agreed personal terms with the Red Devils, with negotiations now ongoing between both clubs. Martinez was notably absent from Villa's squad against Crystal Palace on Sunday, a move that further fueled speculation of his imminent departure. In another transfer twist, Nigeria's Samuel Chukwueze is set for a Premier League return with Fulham. The AC Milan winger is expected in London tonight for his medicals on Monday today, ahead of a ceiling of permanent move to Craven Cottage. And with that sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today right here on Atlantic TV. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejere. Happy New Month and have a pleasant day.
Atlantic TV, culturally inclined and uniquely different.
Trendy on Viewpoint on Atlantic Media and TV. Of course, you know on Trendy, this is where we'll talk about all the trendy issues on the internet. I am Mercy Irabo, and I have Michael Gubadia here in the studio with me. Of course, we'll be talking about the trendy issues and, of course, give our 2 cents on this issue. So what's the first trendy issue today? Tragedy strikes in Maryland as justice is served in a shocking neighborhood crime. This involved a 37-year-old Nicholas Giro from Odenton, Maryland. He was sentenced to life imprisonment plus 20 years for the first-degree murder of his Nigerian neighbor, 27-year-old Isaiah Olugbemi, a rising boxer. So this thing has created some few questions in my head. Like, how exactly are we supposed to manage a neighborhood dispute that it won't escalate into violence, Mr. Michael?
Well, it's a sad tale, especially with the loss of life of a Nigerian. And, you know, this goes to show you that it's not just only in Nigeria we tend to have quarrels between neighbors. But when rather than quiet means of resolution of the conflict, it ends up having to use firearm. That's where the pain is. And, you know, that's why they keep telling us in Nigeria there's no point legalizing guns. Because if you do so, your neighbor, if you just carry your pot of soup, you enter inside house, you carry a gun and you shoot. Just look at what happened. A little small disagreement between both of them ended in the loss of life of that very promising young Nigerian.
Young man. And
Isaiah
wasn't just a victim, he was a promising athlete, a boxer whose life and career ended just too soon. This case, they said, has left Odenton, Maryland in strong tragedy.
Yeah, and shock.
And I feel even we Nigerians are really not happy with this. But thank God that justice has been served. And I think their justice system is a bit fast because if he was here, I'm sure that would take like several years. But this thing just happened on the 17th of June, 2024, and this is 2025, and then justice
a year after
has been served.
And not just
nice
that, Mercy, I'm even happy with the lengthy jail term that was given to this guy.
Life imprisonment plus 20 years. That's a lot. Anyway, so that's that for that. So our second story, updates on Fina and Dangote issue. But this update is heartbreaking because Ruth Otabo, Fina's sister, is dead. She actually fought a good fight. Yes, this is Fina. Fina posted this on X yesterday, saying, "With deep sadness, we announce the passing of Ruth Otabo. She fought bravely for her life, but is now at rest. You will forever be loved, Ruth. May her soul rest in perfect peace, and may God strengthen her family in this time of grief." Look at this promising young lady that Nigeria just happened to. I feel if they were a bit fast, Dangote, they actually said they were supposed to fly her out of the country for her treatment, but it just happened that it wasn't really fast, and that's why she couldn't even take it. And I feel she really fought a good fight. Like, for how many weeks she was just there trying to survive and all of that. Like, this is really, really sad, and I pray her gentle soul rest in peace. What do you think, Mr. Michael?
Well, it's a sad one, and our hearts really goes out to the family for this very unbearable loss. And our prayers are just definitely with the family at the moment. This brings us back to the issue of reckless driving, especially as it concerns Dangote trucks. You know,
exactly.
Help came pretty too late because with all indications and what we learned, especially coming from Dangote, they were planning to fly her to India to see if there will be repair surgery, especially as it concerns her internal organs. Most of them were damaged, and honestly, there were little or no chances of her really surviving. That's just.
But I feel if she was outside the country,
on time,
she would
yes,
survive.
she would have.
Well, it's so sad. This is where we are. But Mr. Michael, today is just too serious, and you know I really do not like serious stuff like this. Okay, so let's lighten it a bit. Let's talk about supermarket survival skill. So when you go to the supermarket, do you just pick anything at the front row, or you go straight to the back?
Well, I always enjoy looking at things at the front because that's where the best things are. rather than
Okay.
going to the back of it. So
Oh, really?
first are always better off being served than being at the ones at the back that seem sometimes being rejected.
Well, I'll tell you, experienced shopper like me will go straight to the back.
For cheaper
We don't
ones.
do, not for cheaper ones. Okay, this is it. In a supermarket, just pick the goods from behind. The ones in front are expiring soon.
Oh.
In accounting, we call it FIFO.
Wow.
That is first in, first out. So have you seen it?
Well, it's true though.
So, like, I feel supermarkets, they put the older ones at the front, then the new ones will be at the back. So, you need to be an experienced shopper like me. So, if they say it's a term in accounting, so it means that we are all accountants in the supermarket. What do you think, Christopher?
Well, anyways, I honestly have to go. I don't have time looking at things from behind. There's little or no time to look at things from behind. Pick what you want, leave, and go ahead and do what you're doing.
And so, me, I've told you now, when you want to shop, go to the back. Don't just pick the ones at the front.
I will still
Except
stay,
you
I'll
just,
still stick to my
except
plan.
you want to just finish using it at the go.
I will
If
still
not,
stick to my plan.
it might expire on you. So that's it. It's just a quick advice for me. So to you watching, are you a front row shopper or you go straight to the back like me? Of course, you know, you can interact with us. You can drop your comments in the comment section of all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube at Atlantic Media and TV. Yes, so for our last topic today, love is sweet. So when money enter, love is sweeter. But I think Davido actually lied. Money can still enter love and it will still end up being bitter. Okay, just imagine you finally found that love of your life and your family says, no, not from that tribe. So do you think even with some money, love will still be sweet?
Well, it depends on which side of the divide you are. Well, let me really understand. Let's leave the sweetness of love and talk about parents deciding for you who to marry.
Okay.
Does that still exist?
It does, and I feel this is a reality for many couples
really?
in Nigeria. You
Okay,
love someone.
let's get their
but
reactions.
Yes, we have some reactions.
Okay.
Please, oh men, how do you all handle a situation where your family is not accepting your woman cause of stereotype from tribe? And these are some of the reactions. Keep convincing them on how wonderful your woman is. Please don't marry her yet until she's accepted. If not, they will frustrate her. Your parents' consent is very essential, even if it takes 2 years for them to accept her. So you can see, obviously, that it
she can
happens.
start having children, and after 2 years,
so
they
yes,
accept her.
thing is, we are looking from just my side. Will her own parents not see it as a red flag and begin advising her to run? I think I love those comments. What will you tell your own sister to keep waiting until their minds change? So it happens. Have you seen it now that some Nigerian men are actually coming online to say, well, I think we still have more reactions. Yes, me, I just announced yet, so I plan marry maybe 2 or 3 years time, but I want to migrate from girlfriend to fiancé. Naim, I jammed this kind wahala. Okay, so this one is saying that he just announced it, and it's not like he wants to marry her yet. He's just planning towards it, and then his family are against the union, I feel, because of the tribal stereotype. You've got time, Sha. Just keep enjoying your woman. They will fall in. Really.
Keep enjoying.
I don't think that's a good one, though. I don't think. What do you think, Mr. Michael?
Well, I feel the issue of tribe and all those stereotypes, it really doesn't make sense. Yeah. It plagued us 3 or 4 decades ago, whereby immediately after the Nigerian Civil War, tribes issue was on center stage of almost every discussion. You go to the north, you can't get married to anybody there. But I felt the National Youth Service Corps changed all of that formation. We look at most of the persons from the south that married from the north or different tribes. There were people that served in different states. And that have helped to build and remove that stereotype, especially as it concerns tribe. Whether she's from your tribe, she's not from. If she's not a good woman, she's not a good woman. Whether he's from your tribe, he's not from. If he's not a caring husband, he will never be a caring husband. So the issue of tribe doesn't really fall in place. The most important thing is, are you happy? Your parents will have done their own. They will go and leave you and I alone. So why let your parents' view supersedes your own happiness. It doesn't make sense.
So are you
they will
trying
not be
to
there
say-
when you people are either patching it up or enjoying the struggles. So that's it.
Are you trying to say you will fight for love if you were in their shoes?
Well, I'll definitely fight for love because I'm the one that will keep her in the house and not my mom or my dad.
Lover man.
Well, anyway, lover man it is there.
So tell me, if your family refuses to accept your partner just because of a tribal difference, so tell me, will you fight for love or you will just accept your parents' wish?
I'll send them an invitation card. If they don't come, I have many uncles that will rather come and sit down and form Okaigbe, like they call it in my place.
All right, that's for Mr. Michael. So tell us, will you fight for love or you just accept your parents' wish? Remember, you love this person and they said when you're in love, you act like your senses are not, I don't know, but I've really not tasted it, so I don't know. Okay, so this is where we'll call it a day. This is where we'll draw the curtain on trending on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV. Of course, you know how to engage with us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV. So see you same time tomorrow. Once again, I am Mercy Erabo.
Well, I'm Michael Gobadia. Like she said, let's see how I'll make this another lovely edition come tomorrow, Tuesday, and the second day of the week, and funny enough, of the month. But all I will say, keep well, and indeed, always do what seems to be right. And remember, it's always interesting to join us all through the day on Atlantic TV. Bye for now.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.